What's going on, guys? It's Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear, and today I am finally ready to do the review on this guy. This is the Vero Engineering Axon, the Stonewash Black Micarta. You know how I feel about Vero. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back. So, Vero Engineering. If you've seen my other videos on Vero Engineering products, which I've had a couple, you'll know that I'm a huge fan. I like what Joseph Vero is doing over at Vero Engineering. He's killing it, and I like him a lot. He's a good guy. He's good to the community. He's really trying to ramp up production because his knives sell out like that. And there's a reason for it. It's because they're good, right? So I've had the Impulse, Vero Engineering Impulse, which is the larger model, Tanto blade, full titanium construction. Loved that knife. Also owned and have a review on the Synapse Xl, which I also love. This knife is awesome. Is wearing the natural micarta, brown micarta, whatever you want to say. Definitely one of those knives where you can open it in so many different ways. Very, very fun. The only thing about this knife that's kind of lacking is all Joseph Vero products have just a little bit of a light detent. It's not crazy, but it's just a little bit light. That's the only problem that I have with this one, and it's not really a problem. It's just something that I would prefer to be a little bit stronger. It's the same way with this guy, but this design is absolutely amazing. The Vero Axon is a perfect size for EDC, I would say, for most people. It's also a little bit different than his other designs. You know, you have the Synapse, you have the Mini Synapse, you have the Impulse, you have the Mini Impulse. This is a totally different design with a horny sheep's foot, however you want to say this blade shape. And it has the V-slot there on both sides. So lefties were like, woo, woo. All right, I can do the middle finger flick with a Vero. Now I've heard from Lefty EDC, him talking to Joseph Vero, that they're actually going to be coming out with a lefty version of the Axon. That's kind of exciting for all the lefties out there. I have a lot of lefty love now because of Lefty EDC being my brother. And then, of course, I have my real brother who is left-handed. So it is kind of a thing that I look for and I appreciate. Not that I have to have it because I'm right-handed and we're just better. Just kidding, Kev. Calm down. But the fact that he's making a lefty version is really getting people excited, and I am too. So what are we working with? We have micarta on this one and a stonewash blade of M390. All of his blades are M390. You can get a stonewash, you can get a belt satin, and you can get a hand satin. All of these knives are made by Best Tech, and in my experience, for all of his products that I've had on the channel, they're doing an amazing job. Amazing. They're just killing it right now with the Vero products. So you have, those are your materials: titanium hardware, titanium pocket clip, which goes well with the flow of the knife. Looks, the exact same as all the other pocket clips that you get on the other Vero knives. There it is on the Fulcrum, and then here it is on the Synapse XL. Now, they are going to be changing the pocket clip just slightly. So keep that in mind. A lot of people, one of the gripes they have is the pocket clip is not that comfortable. With me and my fat, meaty hands, guys, it really hasn't been an issue. The only issue with the pocket clip, that it is kind of snug going in and out of your pocket. That's not really an issue for me, but it is for a lot of people. I like to make sure to know that my knife is not going to come out of my pocket, which most clips don't have to have a lot of pressure to feel comfortable doing that, right? This one is a little bit more pressure to get in and out of the pocket, but it does slide in well. So it's one of those where, your pocket might lift up and then you hear the dink. That's one of those pocket clips. I think it's good. It's not, totally deep carry, but I think it carries deep enough for most folks. The action, like I said, it's got a little bit of a light detent, but it's meant to be flicked like that. So action-wise, it is amazing. I love to middle finger flick this knife. You also can do the front flip, which I also enjoy doing. Those two, majority of the time I'm going to do the middle finger flick, but it's just nice to be able to do this every now and again. You can do the thumb flick. It's just not as intuitive, at least for me, but I'm not really good at it, okay? When I have a hole, I mean, unless I have studs, you know, studs are fine, but if I have a hole or a slot like this, I'm not usually pretty good with the thumb deployment. It's just, you know, but you can do it, so don't get me wrong. Look at this micarta. This is a black micarta, but I'll be honest with you, it really does. Now, the guy here, I had two of these, right? So the first one, and you might have seen on my channel, I bought from my buddy Derek Matthews. Shout out, brother. He was a viewer that knew I was looking for one, or I can't remember how it was. Anyway, he was selling it, and he recognized who I was. We got to talking. We still talk. We're friends on Facebook now. He's just a super cool dude, but he sold me hand satin red G10. And I am so happy that I got to experience that hand satin because it is awesome. All the other Veros that I've had have been stonewash. And I do like a stonewash because, like, on these knives, if you're gonna use it for a knife and you're gonna have it as a user, the stonewash is amazing because it does hide wear. They do a really good job. It's kind of a polished stonewash, just an excellent finish on the blade. However, that hand satin was sexy as hell. But I didn't like the red G10. At the time, you couldn't buy, replacement scales. He has dropped some replacement scales on the site. Of course, they sell out like that, just like anything else that he does. But, you know, he didn't even offer that at the time. So another gentleman, when I said that on my video, said, hey, I've got a black micarta, which is the one I wanted. It is stonewash, though. He wanted something in hand satin. We did a straight up trade. The hand satin is usually a little bit more expensive, but I didn't care. I just wanted black micarta, and I'm a big fan of stonewash, so we did a straight up trade. So now this is the one in my collection, and the red G10 is now gone to him. So that was my story with this, and I'm really glad that I was able to get this because the red G10 just didn't do it for me. Hand satin did, though. Holy moly. So you do have a full, look at that, full titanium backspacer. I'm really digging that. You only see, partial backspacers for the most part. So I really like the fact that this has got a really long backspacer. It helps out with the balance of the knife. So it's super cool. These are all numbered. This is 222. I love that number. Vero's guys, they're limited runs. Now, he is ramping up production, so, rest easy. And these things go for crazy money on the secondary market. You'll pay base price for the stonewash is like $225. And then, of course, you add different colors of micarta, ink cut, cup, and fiber, the price will go up. But $225 for this knife all day, every day. Now, on the secondary, these things are going for pretty crazy money. They're coming for like 500 bucks. I got a good deal on the red G10 one, because Derek is a hell of a guy, and he didn't want to charge me like that kind of price. So he gave me a good deal, and then I did the trade for this black, so I didn't have to go that crazy. But have I? Yeah, I did for this one. Because I like his products, but they are hard to find. So keep that in mind. Now, this right here, the hardware, all satin, very well done hardware. I haven't had any issues with this backing out or anything. I haven't had to adjust it at all. The action has just been amazing on the close the entire time that I've had it. Now, you saw me there. Sometimes I will kind of slip off like that because the V-slot, I like the V-slot, but that does happen to me sometimes on this and on the Synapse XL. So that kind of is a thing. You just really got to know where to put your finger. It is intuitive, but if you're fat-fingered like me, sometimes it just gets a little bit annoying. Sometimes I'll do that and kind of flick it out and it won't go. That has really not much to do with the knife and more my fat fingers, but because most everybody that I know have not said that. I also can use the index finger flick, which is also very fun. It's just a very fun knife to play with because what do we like? We like action. We like the fall shut like this. And then, of course, the middle finger flick for me is just what I like to do. Ergonomics. So you can see ergonomically, Joseph Vero products are similar. So I can actually do this here. which will turn the camera around, get size comparisons, you'll get a better look at this. But they are very, very similar in their ergonomics. You've got a little bit going on, a little bit different going on in the back of the Synapse XL, but this main swoop and the flat right here are where the ergonomics kind of shine. This is not a large knife, but it's not a small knife. This is, in my opinion, an average EDC carry. We'll do specs in a minute, but ergonomically, if I'm holding the knife back here, it's comfortable that you can feel that pocket clip. And guys, if I can feel the pocket clip, you know, it could be a hot spot for a lot of people because of my meaty hands. So if I hold it back here, I can feel that little area of the pocket clip kind of poking me. It's not terribly uncomfortable, but it is a thing. Now, the way I hold this knife is I put my finger on this flat and choke up. This is a very comfortable grip that I could hold and cut with all day. This is how I hold the knife. Holding it back here just doesn't do it for me. Now, even holding it back here, my thumb does not land on the jimping. So if I choke up, my thumb is way up here. The jimping on it is fine, not aggressive, nothing like that, but it is useless on this knife except for doing the front flip. So I definitely like it for that, and I definitely don't want it gone, but the jimping on it doesn't help you in any way ergonomically to lock you in. The knife does that on its own because of the swell right here where my fingers go. I don't feel like it's going to go back and forth. Very, very comfortable knife. I love the design. I love his design and the way his ergos are on all of his knives. The pocket clip is just kind of one of those things that could be improved on, and he is improving on it. He's got a few things in the works, so definitely go. I'll have Vero Engineering's website, Instagram, and all that stuff down below, so you can go check it out. And then, of course, get on the mailing list so you'll know when his drops are. I've missed the damn drop on the Isotope, which is his new Integral, which should be shipping, you know, before too long. I don't even know where this will post, but I'm really excited about that. But I did not get in on that drop, so hopefully I can snag one at one point. Oh man, they go so fast. I am not fast on the computer, apparently. So ergonomically, it is a win. Pocket clip gives it just a little bit notched down, but when you're in this choked up grip, it is nice. How does it cut? I didn't get my dead gum cutting stuff again. I've been forgetting to do that before I start these videos. Wait 1 second. Movie magic. All right. So the cutting geometry on this blade is nice. It is about 130 thousandths thick blade stock, but it comes down to about 17.5, 18 thousandths behind the edge with a full flat grind that is a performer. It has a tip here with this Warncliffe style blade, however you want to call this blade. So it does have a tip that is very nice to get into packages. So I just bring that down in there. It slices like a dream. The kind of the EDC task that I do is the regular stuff, which is getting into packages, cutting cardboard, stuff like that, and it works really well. So let's go ahead and show you with a little piece of cardboard. As you can see, this is not the thickest stuff, but it's definitely not the thinnest. Slices through the cardboard really, really well. See what it does with the paracord. Basically resistantless. Let's do that again with the, resistantless with the paracord. Now the tougher stuff, the twisted sisal rope. This is what usually gives these blades a harder time. Let's see what it does. Oh, see that? So it cut, but it was pretty resistant. I don't know what that is due to, because it slices everything else pretty well. It might have just been me. I don't have enough to try that again. But it sliced through the paracord and the cardboard like crazy. It got a little bit tougher on the twisted sisal rope, so we'll have to try to figure out why that was. But it was probably just me, guys. This blade, I think, is ground really well with 130 thousandths, 17 thousandths behind the edge. Could it have been done thinner? Maybe. But I think that's a great, dimension behind the edge for most EDC knives. Not razor thin. It's got a little bit more toughness back there. With M390, it's not the toughest steel in the world, but it holds an edge for a long time and is actually one of my favorite blade steels for an EDC carry. So let's go ahead, flip the camera around, get a good close look at this guy and some size comparisons, some specs, and compare it. I've actually got a lot of micarta knives here that we're going to compare it to. It's pretty crazy. When I was putting them on, I was like, man, that's a lot of micarta. Stay tuned. All right, let's get a good look at this micarta, shall we? I really dig the micarta that he picked for these. I like it because it is not slick. A lot of the polished micarta looks really good, but this actually gives you grip. And I honestly think it looks better than the polished micarta, but as you can see, it is very nicely chamfered all the way around. The back spacer, see how it goes up and behind this knife? The way that they have done that, I really, really dig. It does not have any place for a lanyard, so you lanyard guys, is there any? I mean, I use lanyards on some of my knives, don't get me wrong, but anyways, very, very nice micarta. I'm digging it. Now, the other colors that he has also looks good. As you can see, you know, the natural on this guy looks good. I love this particular kind of micarta because it does patina over time, change color. So I'm really glad that he ended up doing that. What is the size of this bad boy? Well, I think it's a really good size for an EDC knife that has enough blade length to do what you want to do on a daily basis. It's 8 inches overall, so not small, but not huge. I think it's right there at that sweet spot. It is about 3.4 inches on the blade length, so maybe a little bit more than that. And then it's about 3 1/4 on the cutting edge. Of course, 135 thousandths of blade stock thickness and 17 to 18 thousandths behind the edge. Really, really nice. I do like the fact that they do this nice sharpening choil here, that it looks like it's done really well. So sharpening this guy shouldn't be a problem. So yeah. Here's a different look at that pocket clip where you have Vero on there. And then the only other branding on this knife is the Vero on the blade. Oops, sorry. If I can get it to show with the lighting. Do it. The Vero on the blade. I like that. I like that there is no other branding on this knife other than those 2 spots. I think it's classy. I really dig it. Now, the only other thing that I think I would like for them to put on there is the blade steel, because they're all M390. So if you get a Vero, you know you're getting M390. But a lot of times I just like to have that on there. Some people probably think I'm crazy. Let's go ahead and do some size comparisons. Go ahead and put it up against the Spyderco PM2. This one is wearing OD green scales. This is the PM2 Ultra from Blades We Love. Very comparable size knives. You got obviously a little bit taller of a profile on the PM2. So if you're used to carrying a PM2, this is going to carry in your pocket a lot better. Definitely a lot thinner. It's not too thin, but it's definitely a lot thinner to where you will be able to reach your hand in your pocket without any issue. I was able to do that, but I don't usually carry anything in my right pocket but my full size or my primary carry for that day. Another size comparison, some more micarta. Here it is against the Giant Mouse Ace Grand. So very similar in overall length. As you can see, this is black micarta. This is OD green micarta, but it has actually got a lot of oils in it. So very similar in the way it looks, which I like. I like this OD green micarta. So the fact that it kind of reminds me of that is a good thing for me. You have very nice stone washing on both of these blades. This one's still going to carry a little bit better because of the thinness, and it has different ergos. I do love this knife. This knife is one of my favorite carries as well, but if I had to choose between these two, it would definitely be the Axon. The Axon and the Vero products have just really tickled my fancy this year because Joseph is doing such a good job. But there it is against the Giant Mouse Ace Grand. Put it up against its big brother here. Here it is against the Synapse XL. So definitely smaller than the XL, the Synapse XL. The Synapse regular size is much smaller. I think it's smaller than the Axon. So obviously, what am I going to pick? I'm going to pick the big boy. So there it is against that. And then the only other one, just because I was like, micarta madness, is my Rick Hinderer XM18 3.5 inch. And also very similar in overall size. The Hinderer probably has it just by a little bit. The camera angle is just kind of weird. But yeah, very similar. I love this. I think it's just a great. These are the Rick Hinderer XM18 3.5 inch, the Ace Grand, the PM2, all similar sizes and all very well known for being excellent EDC knives. So I see why this one is so popular. I think this model from Joseph Vero is more popular than the other ones. And I could be wrong about that. Just from what I see on social media and whatnot, people are going crazy over this thing, and I totally see why. It is really that good. There's your another action there. Oh, detent. As like I said, it's a little light, but here, it doesn't have the acoustics like some of the knives out here, but it still sounds pretty good. Let's go ahead and get a weight on this guy. This is definitely going to vary depending on the model that you get. As far as in-cut carbon fiber, the micarta, they have some brass and copper ones, I think. So those are definitely going to be heavier. But this, I believe, 3.65 ounces, and you have like a 3.4 and a like 450 blade length. So ounce per inch ratio, I think, is pretty damn good. I believe a lot of people are going to like that. Usually those guys who count the ounces, though, do prefer a deep carry pocket clip, which this does not have. But I don't care about that. I really dig this thing. And like I said, they probably could have saved weight by not going with a full backspacer, but I really like the fact that they did that. This one in the reverse grip was just an amazing for me. I don't ever use this, but I always put them in that grip. Just to see how they feel, and this one feels really, really good. So anyways, guys, that is about it. I really like this knife. It is one of my favorites out of Vero Engineering. Joseph is just doing one hell of a job over there. I think the guy's a genius because he's coming out with knives like this. He's coming out with the Fulcrum, which is seriously one of my favorite tools of all time. He's just really killing it over there, and he's not done. He is continuing to put out new models and working with his OEMs to improve on certain things. And so you really can't ask for more than that from a knife company, especially one as small as Vero Engineering. So he's got my thumbs up. If you have an opportunity to pick one of these up, I highly recommend it, especially the Axon, because I just think that is a model that everybody is, could carry with them all the time and just be their EDC knife. I think it's excellent for that. So definitely go follow Joseph, follow Vero Engineering on Instagram, go to his website, get on that mailing list so you'll know when more knives drop, and let him know what a great job he is doing, guys. I love you all. Stay safe in this crazy world that we are living in, and we will see you in the next one.